Welcome everybody to another episode of the Shake and Bake. We're here and we're on video number 3 of the Indian Scout Bobber. And this time around, we are doing the 15,000 mile review on this motorcycle. A lot of you guys were really stoked and enjoyed and loved the content that we built on the first 2 videos. And so I felt like it was just natural that we should do a third follow-up video. This time around, we've got 15,977. So been putting a lot of riding miles on this motorcycle, and I've got a lot more things to tell you guys about, and that's what we're gonna cover on this episode. So thank you guys all for sticking with us and subscribing, enjoying the content, all your comments, all the love, all the hate. We really appreciate everything. You guys definitely blew up that last video on the 10K, so we felt like we should just definitely do something for you guys following up. Yeah, we definitely had some people who gave us some good constructive criticism. So this time around, for you keyboard Steven Spielbergs, we got you motherfuckers. We're gonna cover the bike and just do the full video watching the bike. So just to start, I ride this thing every day, so it's dirty. It doesn't sit in the garage and get polished and just become a display bike. Obviously, I've been riding this thing and I got some good updates for you guys. So first and foremost, we'll touch on the brakes. A lot of you guys mentioned that there was a air trapped in the brake system issue, and you guys were totally right. I went ahead and bled the front and the rear brake master cylinders, and I've got a much firmer bite, and the actual pedal and the actual handbrake definitely don't just sag in, and there's a lot firmer brake pressure now, which helps with the confidence factor of braking. But that being said, I still think that the brakes could do better. The front brake especially, on the FTR and on the Indian Challenger, the braking on those motorcycles are exceptional. And I wish that this bike had a little bit of that extra bite. That being said, the motorcycle's definitely good in its own territory, especially after rebleeding the system. Another thing I will talk to you guys about, tires. I went ahead and replaced the rear tire, and I've got about 3,000 miles on it. It's doing pretty damn good for a rear tire. This is the first replacement, but the front tire is still the factory tire from 15,000 miles ago. Yeah, it's starting to get scalloped and it's starting to show some wear, but you know what? It still works, it still runs great. I'm very happy with these tires. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of them and nothing to complain there. They're pretty good for stock tires. Obviously, there's better stuff out there, but these work pretty well. I'm not gonna complain. Another thing that I had to replace was the battery. The battery is located under the seat. When you have an upgraded seat, a little bit more challenging to get to the battery, but still you just 4 Allen bolts, these parts come off, take the seat off, access the battery. So the battery died at around 12,000 miles, and I went ahead and bought a new OEM Polaris Indian battery. Works great. I did try a lithium ion battery, but that shat out on me in about less than 6 weeks. So I said, fuck that shit. It goes back to Revzilla. And I went ahead and bought an OEM Polaris battery, which has been working flawlessly. So expect to replace your batteries within 12,000 miles or within a year and a half of ownership. Other than that, all I've been doing to this bike strictly has just been adding gas and changing the oil. The front brakes and the brake pads are still factory. The rear brakes and the brake pads are still factory. The clutch 100% still in perfect shape. It grabs really well, and although I've been doing a lot of freeway miles and not that many stop and go, the clutch grabs excellently, doesn't slip, has no issues. I can be in any gear and rip the throttle, and the clutch grabs and the bike goes. One thing that I definitely noticed for sure though, the motorcycle does consume a little oil. I believe it's pretty normal because, I mean, everything eventually consumes oil, but I'm not losing a ton of oil. You know, I'm talking about maybe 1/5 of a quart to about 1/4 of a quart in between oil changes. And I'm doing my oil changes at every 4,000 miles, even though Polaris and Indian say that you can do your oil changes every 8,000 to 10,000 miles. I think that's ridiculous. You're talking about an engine, a primary, and a transmission that all share the same fluid. And I really feel that for the cost of an oil change, as cheap as that is, a primary and a transmission and an engine cost a lot more. So I don't have any issues changing the oil. I'll change it all the time. I don't care. It's cheap. I'm using the OEM Indian factory weight. I believe it's a 15W60, if I'm not mistaken. But that's it. Just been changing the oil, adding gas, riding, one new rear tire. We're at about almost 16,000 miles, and this entire bike has been 100% reliable. It starts up every single day for me. It's never given me any grief. A lot of people talk about, hey, do I need to do the valves? Do I have to adjust the valves? Do I have to do anything in the head? And even though the owner's manual does state that you should do a valve adjustment, I said, fuck it. And I just go and ride it. Honestly, I don't feel anything weird. I don't hear anything. I don't hear any extra play on the buckets with the valves. No ticking, nothing out of the ordinary. So I trust that Indian did their homework and did an amazing job with this engine. I mean, it's been in the standard Indian Scouts for almost 5-6 years now. And I'm just looking forward to putting more and more miles on this engine. And honestly, I'm just gonna see how far it can go. I'll report to you guys my findings, but honestly, I haven't taken this thing to the dealer a single time. The only time I've ever gone to the dealership was one time to replace that rear tire. Everything I've done myself, down to the bleeding of the brakes, which are easy to do. If you buy a vacuum bleeder, super easy. You can do it by yourself, not that hard. Also, oil changes, I do them myself. And the adjustment on the actual belt, I do that myself as well. So there's really nothing really complicated with this bike. It's a very, very fun bike. It's powerful. Although after a little while, you kind of get used to that power and it starts to feel a little lackluster, but it revs out really high. It feels great. It's torquey. It's an excellent bike for a first-time rider. I honestly can't imagine why anybody would feel intimidated by this bike. I'm sure the first 2 weeks might be a little bit intimidating, but you get used to it. You learn how to ride it. It's a very nimble bike, very beginner friendly. Low, the seat height is really low, so it's very confident inspiring when you have to put your feet down. No tippy toeing, no bullshit. You could take passengers when you get the Corbin. This is the Corbin Brave saddle. Very, very great seat, love it. Made in the USA, actually made up in Northern California, not too far from here. I did the progressive shocks, which kind of helped with the overall stiffness of the rear end. The stock shocks are pretty shitty. They really do jar your spine when you hit harsh bumps. Progressives work great, love them. That's it, haven't done anything else. Just new seat, new shocks. Oh, and of course, you can't go with stock pipes. The stock pipes are absolute garbage. They come past the rear wheel, and they're so large that every time you try to park your bike, you're scraping the curb with the back of your goddamn fucking pipe. So I'll give you a little sound test on it because honestly, you can't go wrong with these. These are awesome. By the way, those are Vance Hines slash cuts. The drive-by-wire on these motorcycles are pretty much like analog. You can't even feel any delay or any lag. You just twist the throttle and you fucking go. It's awesome. I'm very happy. I rode a friend's Harley Davidson. He has a Dyna, and throttle response is almost identical, considering that this is a throttle by wire. Overall, the bike's awesome. I get compliments on it all the fucking time. A lot of people are not used to seeing these bikes. Some of the personal little modifications I did was I got rid of the, what I call the minion eye cover cowl thing that the factory Scout bobbers have. I also got rid of the Shrek turn signals. They look like fucking ass. Hated how they looked. Cleaned up the front end of the bike. It looks pretty sick. I love it personally. I also put fork guards, so that way these will protect any rocks or debris from hitting the forks at the area where they go down and over the seals, the fork seals. You kind of see a little bit of this sort of like grimy grittiness. It's not rust, it's just crap. It comes off if you scratch it off and wipe it down. So it's little pitting from riding, you know. A lot of cars kick up shit, so definitely wear your full face helmets. Be smart, be safe. Don't get a rock to the eye and end up fucking losing vision because of it. Had to replace the bulb because the stock bulb burned out. Expected, I guess. It's the only thing on this entire motorcycle that's not LED, so obviously some people always upgrade these to the LED headlight from Indian, but I like this traditional headlight look. It looks really old school and I love it. But yeah guys, everything's been rock solid with the bike. I look forward to hearing from all of you guys. Either thumbs up, thumbs down the video, we don't give a fuck. We love to do this. We like to just bring our projects, our concepts, our ideas, our work. We like to present it to you guys. Y'all stay safe, ride safe, drive safe, and get a fucking bike and enjoy the fucking American road. Stop being a pussy. Buy the motorcycle, buy it, get out there. There's way worse things you can do in your life. If you die, you die. Live it up, enjoy it. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. Love you guys.